learn to think. This right here, what looks like a grape with a sinus infection, is actually a baby elephant just about ready to, well, be dropped from 5 feet. And start things off with a bang to the head. It's an exciting event for everyone. The whole herd gathers around and celebrates. It's quite cute and loud, but they should celebrate. That baby's been up in there for almost 2 years, so when it comes out, it's fairly well baked. It takes a minute or two to get used to its new surroundings. I mean, he's not in Kansas anymore. You know, if Kansas were a mucus-filled placental sac inside the uterus of an elephant. But in no time at all, this baby is standing up on its own. First things first, it's guided to the nipples. We should all be so lucky. And there they are. Could benefit from a dab of lotion by the looks of it. For the next 3 to 4 years, the baby will nurse in its mother's care, supported by the other females in the herd. Sometimes it takes a village. These elephant babies can sometimes be a handful. Look at this one, it's throwing an all-out tantrum. Probably just passed by a Chuck E. Cheese. That demon robotic mouse that calls to children. But it's a good thing that there's some time for the baby to learn how to elephant. You gotta get your feet right, but there's more subtle things like caring for your skin. Elephants have quite the beauty regimen. Luckily, they use foundation and powders that are quite cheap and readily available. Throw a bit of dirt on the back, maybe a mud bath. It's worth it because listen, this is no ordinary skin. Now up close, it doesn't seem like their routine is addressing the wrinkles. But in this case, the wrinkling is on purpose. Elephant skin doesn't just have wrinkles, there's wrinkles on the wrinkles. And the closer you look, the more you find. Unlike our skin, which flakes off when it dies, elephant skin sticks around and forms thicker and thicker layers as they age. And this wrinkled mess can do some magic tricks. Look at that. It's amazing. It's like a giant elephant-shaped sponge. And having skin that can hold on to water like that is very important. Elephants can get hot, very hot. They have the highest ratio of volume to surface area of any land animal. Too much body and not enough skin surface to cool off. They don't have sweat glands except for a couple between their toes. Those aren't going to do shit, so they have some other tricks. For one, they have these little hairs all over their body, not like a luxurious mane. More like the smattering follicular landscape of a testicle. One question, though, is why do they have hair at all? Doesn't hair make you warmer? Now, you might think that it's just evolutionary leftovers, sort of a slowly balding woolly mammoth. But it turns out that when hair density drops below a certain threshold, having hair switches from something that keeps you warm to something that helps you cool off. And it appears that that's what's happening. The hairs themselves help get rid of heat. Their giant ears also act as heat exchangers. Waving them around cools down the blood that runs through them. I know what you're thinking, Naughty Bits. Those veins there remind me of the veins in a human testicle, which also shed heat to keep sperm from overheating. Elephant testicles are inside the body, in basically the hottest place. There's something called the hot testicle hypothesis. It's a good band name. It says that elephants might not get cancer because they've evolved extra proteins that are constantly protecting and repairing heat-damaged sperm. Anyway, I digress. Wait, is this one flipping us off? Oh, we're totally getting flipped off by an elephant trunk right about now. But let me tell you, those trunks are quite something. Segway. You know, in the womb, they actually have an upper lip that's separate from their nose, but those fuse together to form the trunk. Here, try pushing your upper lip forward while flaring your nostrils. Hold that, right? Well, nothing to do with an elephant, but you look like an idiot. The trunk is made up of connective tissue, a tiny bit of fat, and tens of thousands of muscles that go the long way, the short way, and roundsy-bouncy. Much like the tongue, the trunk contains no bones and no cartilage, but by coordinating those muscles, it can do all sorts of things. It's quite strong, especially nearer up to the top. You can see one working out here. Must be a warm-up set because they can lift up to 700 pounds, which is the equivalent of 701-pound weights, for those of you who are into the gym things. The trunk is also quite stretchy. The skin and connective tissue on the top surface of the trunk is stretchier than the bottom, while the bottom is stiffer, stronger, and more grabby-grabby. The trunk is lined with special sensory hairs called vibrissae. On the bottom of the trunk, they form rows on either side. The science hippies think that this helps them balance things in the curl of their trunk, like this watermelon. But the tip has the most hairs and is the most sensitive, as tips are wont to be. Depending on the species, the trunk ends in one or two things that basically act like fingers. And I'm sure that science hippies are tempted to fake this research with hand puppets. The combination of a flexible trunk and these fingerlings means that they can pick things up in all sorts of ways, depending on their shape and how big they are. And those finger parts are capable of some very fine movements. Look at this one peeling a banana. Not exactly how I do it. It gets the job done. And look at this one, delicately picking up a tortilla without breaking it. Now, the trunk isn't a hollow tube. Those two nostrils run down the length of it. And that means it can get sucky-sucky, which provides yet another option for picking things up, but can also function a bit like a straw. Not an all-the-way straw, though. It is a nose, after all. And you know what it feels like to get a nose full of water all the way back. So when it sucks, it doesn't suck all the way. It holds whatever is sucked, and then it can squirt it back out into an appropriate orifice, or wherever the it wants, really. I know you like to learn. You're here learning about elephants, aren't you? Well, Brilliant.org is an amazing, free and easy way to learn about a whole lot more. Math, data science, computer science. It feels good to learn, and it helps a lot when a 5-year-old keeps asking why, or your boss for that matter. Brilliant has thousands of interactive courses, from basic to advanced, on topics that are interesting and important today, like how to think in code. There's a new How Technology Works course where you can learn things like what actually makes a password strong and why yours probably sucks. You get to learn all this at your own pace with content that fits your skill level and interests. And listen, if you get stuck, there's hints and explainers so that you really understand a concept before you move on. To try everything Brilliant has to offer, free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/ZaveFrank or click on the link in the description. The first 200 of you will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. Brilliant has been a long-time sponsor of this show because I like what they do. Check them out today. Where were we? Oh, right. Elephants eat sticks and leaves and other crap a sensible person might rake.